Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Emily and I am the owner of the Aesthetic Dollar, and I create simple and minimal budgeting tools to support budgeters and cash stuffers. If you are finding this video because you are looking up how to create a zero-based budget, I just really quick want to introduce myself. So like I mentioned, my name is Emily and I am married to my husband, Chris. We've been married for almost 11 years. We have 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls, ranging from the ages of 2 all the way up until 9 years old. We have kids that are in hockey. We have a child who has special needs, and my husband and I are both self-employed. So our income can vary month to month. What we like to do is pay ourselves once a month at the beginning of the month and then budget out that entire month before the month starts. And so that's my number one tip for you, is that you create your budget before the month starts. And if you're watching this video in the middle of the month, there is no harm in starting now, but I have found it so easy to just plan your entire month out, because that way you are giving every dollar a name. And that is what a zero-based budget is creating a budget where you start with your income, you subtract your expenses, and then that should equal 0. And when I say subtract your expenses, that can be bills, that can be clothing, that can also be money that you're putting into savings or keeping in your checking account for a buffer. But whatever you're doing in between, it should always equal 0, so that every dollar has a name and you're not sitting around wondering where your money went. So before I jump into it, I just want to give you a couple of definitions that I get a lot of questions about, like what certain things mean. So I just explained what a zero-based budget is. It's when you start with your income, you subtract your expenses, and that should equal 0. And just a side note, that doesn't mean that you have $0 in your bank account. It just means that you've given every dollar a name. So hopefully we're all on the same page with that. Another definition that I want to give you guys is a sinking fund. And a sinking fund is basically just a fund for a specific category that you're putting money aside for. And that could be literally anything you want it to be. It could be for vehicle maintenance. It could be setting smaller amounts of money aside into a clothing sinking fund so that when you need new clothes, you have that money saved up for that. But it's just a method of saving for specific categories over time. Another definition is variable expenses. Variable expenses are expenses that change month to month and aren't exactly the same each month. So examples of variable expenses could be clothing, it could be groceries, it could be gas. Just anything that doesn't stay the same. Fixed expenses is another one, and fixed expenses are things that remain the same every single month. So that would probably include things like your subscriptions, your mortgage or your rent, your student loan payment, and things like that. Savings challenge is another one. So if you are newer to the cash stuffing world, a savings challenge is a way for you to track how much you're putting aside for your savings. It's usually fun and something that makes saving fun because you can actually see the money starting to add up versus just moving it into a savings account, which is also great. But if you're somebody who needs a little extra motivation or to have some fun with budgeting, a savings challenge is a great way to do that. I think those are some of the main definitions that I get asked about the most often, but if there's something that you're wondering, like a term that you don't know what it means, put it in the comments and either I or someone in our amazing community will answer that question for you. All that being said, what I'm gonna go over in this video is how to create a zero-based budget, how to transfer that onto a cash planning page so that you can know what denominations you're taking out for cash stuffing, then transferring that to a teller slip and going to the bank to actually get the cash. This is going to be kind of a 2-part series. So this will be the first part, and then the second part will be the actual cash stuffing, just so you can see how it all ties together. So I hope this video blesses you. I hope it's helpful, and make sure you ask questions in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you like this kind of content. All right, so welcome to part 1 of making my budget and cash stuffing. So this is going to be a 2-part series, I guess we could call it, where in the first part, I'm going to walk you guys through kind of like how I make my budget and how I decide how much cash goes into my different categories in my cash envelopes. And then in the second video, I'm going to be actually like doing my cash stuffing. So you guys will get to see like the entire process. Normally I only film my cash stuffing, so you're not seeing the behind the scenes. So I thought that I would share that with you guys in this type of video. I do have a couple other videos explaining how to make a zero-based budget. I'm not going to go over that in a lot of detail during this video because I do have those other 2 videos, but I am going to kind of briefly walk you through how to do that. Those of you who have been following me for a long time already know this, but for anyone that's new, I'm not going to be sharing my exact budget, like everything in complete detail, because before I started my YouTube channel, my husband and I talked and decided that we wouldn't be sharing our income and a few other details about our finances online for a few different reasons.
My husband is very private about our finances, and I completely respect that, and to an extent, so am I. So I am going to be walking you through, though, how to make a zero-based budget, how I make my budget, and then we will kind of segue into how I decide what I'm gonna do for cash stuffing. So that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. And I do want to show you guys, I just started using the Infinite Lotus monthly planner spread, and I am absolutely obsessed. So I have a few of these left in my shop, and as of right now, they do come with a free 2024 and 2025 dashboard. So make sure you head over there, see if there's any left. But I'm absolutely loving this, and so I decided that I was gonna go through and write all of my bills on here so that I could kind of like have an idea of when things are getting taken out. We don't cash stuff any of our bills, and the main reason for that is because it's just a little bit of a hassle. I would rather just keep that money in our account. We do include it into our budget. So each of these things is a line item in our budget. And so I know that it's coming out and we do budget for it, but that money stays in our bank account because all of our bills are auto drafted out anyway. I like to keep things as simple as possible, but this still gives me an idea of when things are coming out, just so that I can keep an eye on things, make sure we're not getting overcharged, and just make sure that everything looks good. So I went ahead and I put our bills on here, and I'm really excited. I need to go through and also add in some special dates, like when I need to have the kids registered for hockey, how much money we need to have saved up by then, the kids' birthdays, when we're gonna do their birthday parties, and things like that, so I can kind of be aware of some of those special dates, because those are really important when you're making a budget, to be able to think ahead. So I'm absolutely loving this monthly planner spread. So let's go ahead and hop over to August. So this is the budget binder inserts from my shop, and I do also have it in a bound version. So this is the exact same thing, but it's in a bound version, so it just kind of depends what your preference is. I mean, honestly, the inside is like the exact same, so it's just a bound version. Okay, so we are doing August, which is going to be month 8, and it starts off with the weekly wallet tracker, which is a way to keep track of how much money you're stuffing and spending in your wallet each week. And then, so for a zero-based budget, I know I already explained this at the beginning, or maybe I didn't. I can't even remember, but either way, so with a zero-based budget, the intention is that you start with your income, you subtract your expenses, your bills, your savings, like everything that you're including into your budget. And when you're finished, every single dollar should have a place to go. It should have a job for the month. What that means is that 1,000 of those dollars, their job might be to go into your savings account or to stay in your checking account as a buffer. Either way, it doesn't mean your checking account has a $0 balance. It just means that every single one of those dollars has a place to go, so that you're not wondering where it went at the end of the month. So it's just a way to plan and to track your money so that you actually know what it's doing and you don't feel so out of control. When I start to make my zero-based budget, and we do use an app called EveryDollar, so that's initially where I will make my budget, is in that app, and it's set up exactly the same as this. So when I created these budget sheets, I created them with the intention of using them in conjunction with that app. You don't need that app to use these, though. A lot of people prefer to use pen and paper. The reason I love the app is because it connects to our bank account, and so anytime we do use our debit card, it will show up on the app, and then we can drag and drop that transaction into the line item. So I really love the app for that. It's called EveryDollar. This is not sponsored by EveryDollar. I'm not being paid to tell you guys this. We've used the app for many years, and I just absolutely love it. So you don't need the app, though, to make a zero-based budget. You can easily just do it on like a pen, with a pen and a piece of paper. You don't even need this. You could just use like a plain, like a notebook. That would be totally fine too. I'm only showing you this because this is what I personally use. So then we've got variable expenses and your sinking funds, which we went over the terminology for that at the beginning of this video. So that could be whatever you want it to be for your budget. And then we also have savings challenges, debt payoff, and then I'll get to this in just a minute. So you're gonna start by listing out your income. So let's just say you've listed out your income and you have a full-time and a part-time job, and these are just gonna be really random numbers. They're not gonna be super realistic, but let's just say your monthly income is $3,000. So that's what you're gonna start with. You're gonna subtract your bills. Let's say your bills are $1,700 total. So that leaves you with $1,300. And So let's just say that your variable expenses, and you could do it either way. So it just depends what you cash stuff for. So if you cash stuff for clothing would be an example of a variable expense. If you cash stuff for that, I would honestly put that into my sinking funds, but you could also keep it here as well. It's honestly whatever you want to do. I left these pages so vague so that people could make this into what they want, because everybody's budget is so different. So let's just say that you have written down your sinking funds, those equal $250. And then I like to do my cash stuffing last, so I'll budget out everything else and see how much I have left. So let's just say we're gonna put $350 into our savings challenges, and then the car payment is $200. That's the only debt we have. So then we'll come back here to our sinking funds. And so we have $500 to work with for the rest of the month for sinking funds. And so then I will go through and just kind of figure out, well, I'm not going to need any clothing this month, or I'm not going to need any toiletries or whatever this month. So I could maybe just stuff $5 in that envelope. The dog is almost out of dog food, so I'm going to need to stuff that envelope, and just kind of figuring out like how much you're gonna stuff in your envelopes. And so the process that I just explained as far as the zero-based budget, starting with the income and then putting down like your bills, your variable expenses, your sinking funds, your debt payments, your saving challenges, all of that, that can be done once a month. I recommend doing it for each paycheck. So if you're paid 4 times a month, like weekly, you could do this process weekly. Or if you get paid bi-weekly, you could do this process twice a month or bi-weekly. So this does also come as a digital download. So you could do like a digital download on my website and be able to just like print off as many sheets as you need. Or like I said, use a piece of notebook paper. If you're somebody, I always tell people this, if you're somebody who's getting out of debt right now and you're working on getting out of debt, you don't need this stuff. You do not need this. Just get notebooks are 50 cents at Target right now for back to school. Like go get a notebook, a 50-cent notebook. Do this exact same process in a notebook. Get out of debt and then get the pretty things if you want to. I always tell people that. That's always my disclaimer. I am not here to sell you anything. I would honestly rather you not. I would rather you go to Target and get a 50-cent notebook and make your budget there until you are debt free and have some money in savings. I'm only gonna say that once. So that being said, you could do this process weekly. So with my situation, Chris and I, my husband and I, are self-employed. We pay ourselves once a month. So I make our budget once a month. So I've written down our income. I've subtracted our monthly bills, which again, I've also written down here to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And so if you're somebody who's doing this weekly or bi-weekly, this could be a really good option for you, because you're looking at like if these are your first 2 weeks that you're budgeting out because you're paid on the 10th, then you could look here and think, okay, I've got all these bills coming out, so I need to factor those into this pay period's budget. Some people think you need to make a budget just once a month. I always recommend doing it for every pay period, because it's causing you to have your hands on it more, to look at it more, to think about it more, and to change your habits, which is the biggest thing when getting control of your money, is changing those habits. I wrote down my income, my husband and my husband's income, and then I wrote down our bills, and then we are debt free, so I didn't need to use this section, but then I wrote down our savings challenges, and I'm actually gonna do that for you guys right now. I did make my budget ahead of time just for the sake of this video being a little more smooth. I've tried filming this video a couple times in the last few months, and it did not go well because I was all over the place with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys what you see, because like I said, my husband and I keep our income private and some of our bills just for honestly safety reasons. But what I am gonna show you guys is my, like this aspect of it. And I'm actually going to, I'm missing my cash, oh, there we go. I was like, I'm missing a cash planning sheet here and I don't know why. I usually take imperfect items out of my shop to use for myself. So this was probably a budget binder insert that was like missing some pages or something, and I just took it. So we'll just do that. So what I'm gonna show you guys is mostly gonna be right here. And this is gonna be, mind you, for the entire month. And so what I came up with is, after all of our bills are paid, and I mean, really the only thing that we don't cash stuff for is our bills and our groceries and our gas. So beyond that, we cash stuff pretty much everything else, including savings challenges. So I had about $6,000 left over after our bills were paid, and I budgeted $1,200 for grocery and $500 for gas. We have about $6,000 left over for the month to cash stuff. So I looked, and 6,000, can you guys see my calculator? 6,000 divided by 4 weeks is about $1,500 a week, give or take. So what I went ahead and did was I looked at my savings challenges, and I'm gonna just show you guys an example real quick. So this is my 10K savings challenge. So I came in here and I went to August and I added up how much we're gonna be saving for the month of August. So, and it ended up being $800. So for challenge, I'm gonna write 10K, and the amount that we're stuffing is $800. Then at the end of the month, after we're done, I like to do a count up when we do our cash condensing and see what our total balance for the entire savings challenge is. So once we're done with the month of August, that will be 8 months completed, and we'll know a balance. So that's where I will write that. Next, I'm going to grab my 5K savings challenge, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna add this up. I don't know, can you guys even see my calculator? So we got $50, and then $125 for the second week, then $75, and then $150. So that's $400 total for the 5K savings challenge. I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible, and I'm just doing these monthly savings challenges. And I'm actually, you'll see in my cash stuffing video, I am adding in the 2.5K savings challenge because I figured why not? I wanted to start another savings challenge. I wasn't sure which one to start. So I'm for sure gonna start this one, and I still need to get like my tabs and stuff in here, but that's a task for another day. So I added up what I'm going to be stuffing for the 2.5K, and you guys know me, I like to get caught up. So I have not started this, but I want to complete it in December at the same time that I complete all my other ones. So I figured it out, and we'll do the month of August, and then we're also gonna do the full month of January, plus the first week of February. So that we're gonna be saving all of that. And so I added all of those numbers up, and it turned out to be $460 is what we're gonna save in that one. Please don't mind my handwriting right now. I feel like my angle's weird. Normally I sit at my kitchen table, but we're sitting at my coffee table in the living room right now. So total in our savings for this month is going to be $1,660. Okay, so then we started with 6,000, so we're gonna minus 1,660 for our savings challenges. So that leaves $4,340 left for all of our sinking funds. So let's just go ahead and divide that by 4. So roughly we'll be stuffing $1,085 into our sinking funds each week. And then we'll be stuffing $1,660 into our savings challenges. I actually do my cash planning on my notepad, which seems really counterproductive, but I like doing it on my notepad just because it's easier for me to grab it when I'm gonna go film. For this cash planning sheet, what I like to do, and I'm not gonna do it right now because this video is gonna get so long if I do, but I'm just gonna share this little tip. What I like to do in this specific budget book is I like to create my ideal budget, like the perfect month in here. So off camera, I will go through, I will write my income, I will write all of my bills, and then my variable expenses, which is technically it's my gas and my groceries. And then I'm gonna write my sinking funds here. I've got my savings challenges here. And then what I like to do for my cash planning is I like to do like a rough cash planning. I don't know how else to say it. But what I do is I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna write down all of my sinking funds categories on here. And then I'm going to write the amount that I'm gonna cash stuff per week. So most of my weeks end up looking pretty similar, but sometimes it might change a little bit. You guys know how budgets work. Things pop up, things surprise us, things don't go according to plan. So sometimes we need to rearrange our budget, but I still like to go through and just write like a rough estimate on how much I'd like to cash stuff into each sinking fund throughout the month. So that's what I like to do there. But let's go ahead and grab the cash planning notepad as well as my sinking funds binders. All right, so I have my cash planning notepad, and what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm going to go through and write down all of the categories that I plan on cash stuffing for the first week of August, and then I will come back and walk you through how I decide how much to put into each category. I just finished writing all of my categories onto my notepad. So I have everything on here. So now I'm gonna grab my sinking funds binders, and we're just gonna kind of flip through and see how much we're gonna need to spend in each category. I don't have like a secret recipe or anything. I literally just go through my envelopes and kind of just see like what the balance is, what we have coming up, if I need to stuff more than usual or less than usual. So first I'm just gonna write down what we already planned for our savings challenges. So we had 105 in the 2.5K, $50 in the 5K, and $100 in the 10K. And so how I figured that out, for the 5K for the first week of August, we have $50. And then the 10K, we have $100 for the first week. So that's how I figured out those savings challenge numbers. And then let's just go ahead and start from the top with our high priority sinking funds. And so I'm just gonna grab my binder here, and we're just gonna kind of go through and see what we have. So in our home envelope, we have $1, $2, $3, $350, $370, $390, $400 in home, which is actually pretty good. This is anything we would need for our house. So cleaning supplies, a new throw pillow, one of the kids needs a new comforter, anything like that. So cow and pig, we are gonna do, so we're getting our next half cow in November, so we need $1,800 by then. So 500, 6, 7, 8, 9, 920, 930. So we're gonna do 70, I think, just to make it an even 1,000. So we're working with just slightly less this month than normal, which is totally fine. Clothing, we have 1, 2, 3, 350, 370, 390, 400. So again, that envelope is looking pretty good as well. I do need to do an unstuffing at some point, which is just, if I have spent my debit card, spent money like on clothing online, I need to pull that money out of here. So I know that there's probably around $300 I need to pull out of there, but 20 will be good. I think for beauty, we're just gonna do 20. We really don't need anything big this month. Dogs, I think we'll do 20 in dogs as well. My husband just got dog food, so we're sitting pretty good for them. So chickens, 1, 2, 250, 270, 290, 295. So I normally put 50 in here, 50 a week. And so just to make it an even number, we're gonna do 55. And so I did already, for the most part, kind of figure out how much of this I'm going to be stuffing into each envelope. I'll get my calculator out soon and we'll kind of see where we're at. I always start with my high priority first because it's the one that I want to like make sure everything in here is stuffed that needs to be stuffed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, $410 for horses. So I think let's just do 90 in this one because then we can have an even 500. Health, 1, 2, 250, 270, 290, 295. So that could be co-pays, vitamins, supplements, anything. So let's do $25 in health. And then miscellaneous, we're good in this envelope. I think I'm just gonna add some 5s for my wallet, for my cash stuffing, because I like to put a $5 bill in my kindness envelope and my miscellaneous envelope in my wallet. And I'm gonna mark this right now or else I will not do it later because I wanna have 2 5s. And so if I don't do that right away, when I'm going through and like marking my denominations, which I'll show at the end, I will just mark a 10 here by accident. So I like to do that right away so I don't forget. So that's it for high priority. Next is low priority, which could also be like considered a long-term sinking funds, kind of. So eating out, I might have to get my calculator out because I am gonna be stuffing more in here. Let's see if we can get enough. I am gonna be stuffing more in this one only because our fridge is completely broken. We have one out in the garage, but it's not very big and it doesn't work well. It kind of like freezes all of our produce. It's a long story, but so I think I'm going to give myself some grace this week and we're gonna get some like takeout a couple nights for our family. So I think for eating out, I'm gonna do 100 this week. So let's just see where we're at. So 1,500 minus 105 and 150 for our savings challenges. We've got 1,245 left. So $20 minus. All right, so we've got $815 that we're still working with. So I just wanted to kind of get that figured out. Entertaining, we have 50 left in here. I don't think we're having people over anytime soon, but spending, we're gonna do our usual 50. So my husband and I each get $25 a week for spending. So again, this one, I also have to mark immediately. So 2 20s and 2 5s, because we each get a 20 and a 5. Self-care, oh yeah, I'm not stuffing family fun. We have plenty in there. We have like $600 in that envelope. So self-care, I'm gonna do $20. Gifts. See how much we have in here, 70. So let's just do $20 in gifts. I like to have this envelope at about $300 and then I usually stop stuffing it. Okay, so So 705. Hockey rink, I think we're just gonna do 20. A lot of these are probably just gonna be 20. Pool. Let's see how much we have in this one. 500, 600, 700, 850, 870. So let's actually do 30 here. Seasonal lawn care. We really don't need to do anything for that right now, so I'm just gonna do 10. Garden, I think I'm just gonna do 20 this week to make sure we have enough for everything else. Renovations is always, we just do $50 a week no matter what. Medical, so I think medical and vehicle maintenance, I'm gonna do 100 in both of those. This vehicle maintenance money is gonna get pulled out. This envelope is gonna get completely cleared because the turbo went out in my husband's truck. So it like won't, he had to get it towed to get it fixed. He tried himself and that did not go well. Memberships, we're gonna do 20. And then tax prep, let's just do 10 for tax prep. And I always forget to like do my calculator. So we had 815 right here, I believe. Okay, so we've got 375 going into the kids binder. Well, not like going into their binder because we also have holidays too. So we're gonna have to kind of do the rest of this a little sparingly, I guess. Okay, so clothing. How much do they have? I can't even tell. Okay, so they have 160. That's pretty good. So let's just do 20 in the kids' clothing envelope. School expenses, we're just gonna do 5. We'll stuff that a little more once the school year starts, but we have, I think we have over 100 in there. Well, or close to 100. Back to school, actually, I'm not gonna stuff this one. This one has almost $500 and I have most of their back to school stuff already. The rest of this will probably just get spent on clothing, like back to school clothing. Birthdays, let's do 20. Once we get done with this sheet, I'm gonna see where we're at before we start the last binder. Hockey, let's do 15 in hockey. And you guys are wondering like, where am I getting these numbers? I've been cash stuffing so long, I kind of know how much we have in the envelope and how much we need to put in the envelope. 100, 150, 170, 190, 195, yeah. So 15 is good. So we're gonna do 20 for the kids. So each kid gets 5 every week. So I'm gonna do, so I did that again, where here I'm gonna write my denomination immediately so that I don't forget. So all 4 of the kids get $5. And then kids miscellaneous, I always check, if I don't have a 10, I will stuff 10 in there just to make sure I have enough for my wallet for them. Okay, so I do these little lines here too on my cash planning just to break up my binders. So like this is high priority, this is low, and then this is the kids binder. So we had 375 going in here, so we're gonna subtract 20. So 285 is what we have left for the holiday binder. So go to page 2 here. So Valentine's Day. So these are pretty easy. So if it's a holiday that's further away, I'm just gonna do 5. So I'm gonna do 5 for all of them. Yeah, we'll just start stuffing 5 and 4th of July too. So Halloween, we have 250. I don't really think we're gonna need much more than that. We'll just do 10 since that's like the next holiday coming up. Thanksgiving, I do think I am hosting Thanksgiving again. So 100, 150, 160, 165. We'll start stuffing this a little bit more in the coming weeks, but I think I'm just gonna do 15 in here. Black Friday is fully funded, so we don't need to stuff that one anymore. 500 is what we have in there. Christmas gets 50 every week, no matter what. So let's see where we're at so far. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 35, 15, minus 50. So we have 185. I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna like redo, like go through and recalculate everything just to make sure that I have roughly 1,500 in here. It's okay if it's a little over or a little under because it's the first week, so I can always adjust like weeks 2, 3, and 4 in August as well. Seasons. So we have 180. Let's do 50 in seasons. I just spent $100 out of that envelope getting a Power Wheels 4-wheeler for the girls. Let's do 100 in seasonal decor, which sounds excessive, but I know that I'm gonna wanna get some Christmas decorations for this new house because it's much bigger than our old house. So I just wanna like have the freedom to be able to get some things guilt-free if I can. Okay. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna add up all of this to see what we have total. Okay, so we did land at exactly 1,500. Like I said, I kind of like roughly figured these out before I did this, but I wanted to show you guys like my process for how I actually do it. So now I'm gonna show you how I figure out my denominations, and I might bring you guys a little closer. Okay, so hopefully that helps. You guys can, I'm like wobbling here. Okay, I grabbed this. I don't know if it's helpful or not, but so this is kind of how I do it. So for home, we budgeted 20, so we're gonna do one $20 bill. And then on the next line for our cow and our pig, half cow and half pig, I should say, we're doing 70, so we're gonna do a 50 and a 20. 20 for clothing. Beauty, dogs. So then for chickens, we're doing 55. Horses, we're doing 90, so we'll do a 150, 2 20s. Health is 25. So see, miscellaneous, we already did that, so I won't forget. Eating out. So I did 100 for that one. Trying to think. I think I'm just gonna do a $100 bill. We have a family of 6, so when we get takeout, it's usually over $50. Entertainment, we're doing a $20 bill, and then for our spending, we did 2 20s and 2 5s. So I'm just gonna do that all the way through here, and then once I get done, I'll come back and we will add everything up and transfer it to the teller slip. All right, so I just got done going through and figuring out all of the denominations that I want to pull from the bank. So now I'm just gonna go through and add them all up. So for fives, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 25s. So I wrote that down here by my totals, and I forgot to write here, but our total is $1,500 flat. And then for tens, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens. For 20s, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19. 50s, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 50s. And then for hundreds, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 hundreds. All right, so now I'm gonna grab my teller slip and we're gonna get our teller slip ready to take to the bank. All right, so this is what the teller slip looks like. It just makes it easier for the teller at the bank to get you the denominations that you need. My teller absolutely loves these. Super easy to fill out. So you've got your denomination here, how many of each you need, and then what the total dollar amount is. So for hundreds, we have 6 of them. We have 7 50s. We have 19 20s, 7 10s, and 25s. And then I don't like ones. So I don't personally do ones, but I know a lot of people do. So then you would obviously write those there. And then you're gonna write the dollar amount. So 6 100s is 600. 7 50s is 350. That moves that out of the way. And then 19 20s is 380, I think. 7 10s is 70. And then 25s is 100. So then we are just gonna add that up. So 600 plus 350 plus 380 plus 70 plus 100 is 1,500. So it's another way that you can double check to make sure that you've got your math and everything correct. I will take this to the bank, to my teller, and I like to use the money bag because it's discreet, it's easy. Then they're not having to use their paper envelopes. That's also good. This is reusable, obviously. I'm going to take this to the bank and I am going to get my cash for cash stuffing. So this is going to be it for our part 1 of this 2-part series. And in the next video, you will get to see me going to the bank and then coming home and doing my actual cash stuffing. So definitely leave any questions that you have in the comments. Either me or someone in this amazing community will answer those questions for you. I'm always cheering you on. I hope this video helped. I hope it blessed you in some way, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video.